Rain poured mercilessly over the silent highway, blurring the lights of the few cars that dared to pass. The sound of thunder echoed through the clouds, but beneath it, another sound fought for life, the sputtering of an expensive silver Mercedes-Benz that had just given up in the middle of nowhere. Inside, a woman sat gripping the steering wheel, her breath trembling with frustration. Her name was Alina Rao, CEO of one of the biggest automobile corporations in the city, a woman whose life was measured in profit margins, deadlines, and endless boardroom pressure. Tonight, however, power meant nothing. She was stranded, cold, and helpless on a deserted road. As she tried calling for assistance, the signal disappeared. Raindrops slid down her windshield like tears, blurring the world beyond. Then, through the fog and storm, a dim yellow light approached, an old motorbike pulling over just a few feet away. The rider was soaked from head to toe, his clothes clinging to his body, his hands trembling from cold. He removed his helmet to reveal a young man, maybe 22, with weary eyes and a face that carried years of hardship. "Looks like your car's in trouble," he said softly, barely audible against the roar of the rain. His name was Arman, a mechanic's son who worked in his father's small garage at the edge of the city. "If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the magic of helping others when they least expect it, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Your support keeps these stories of humanity alive." Arman knelt beside the car without hesitation, his fingers already working on the wheel and wires. He didn't care that the rain soaked him, that his hands were numb, or that his shoes were filling with mud. All he saw was someone in need, and all he knew was how to help. Alina watched him through the window, uncertain whether to be impressed or cautious. Something about the boy reminded her of a time long gone, before success, before her heart hardened. She lowered her window and asked if he needed help, but he only smiled faintly and shook his head. "I'll manage, ma'am," he said, his voice kind but distant. Within 20 minutes, the car roared back to life. When she stepped out to thank him, she noticed his shivering hands and torn shoes. "How much do I owe you?" she asked, reaching for her wallet. Arman simply smiled. "Nothing. You looked like you needed help. That's enough payment." Then, without another word, he put on his helmet and rode off into the rain, leaving her speechless beside the running engine. For someone used to deals and invoices, the gesture of pure kindness struck deep. For the first time in years, Alina felt something shift inside her. Days passed, but she couldn't forget his face, or his words. In her world, people did things for profit. Yet here was a boy who'd asked for nothing, given everything, and vanished into the storm. Out of curiosity, or perhaps gratitude, she traced the area where she had broken down. There, behind a line of old houses, she found a small garage, half rusted and nearly collapsing under the weight of time. The signboard read Rafiq Auto Repairs. Inside, she saw the same boy working tirelessly on an old taxi. His father sat nearby, coughing weakly, his frail frame wrapped in a thin blanket. Alina stepped in quietly. Arman looked up, surprised but calm. "You again?" he asked, wiping his hands on a rag. She smiled awkwardly, unsure why her heart was racing. "You helped me that night. I just wanted to say thank you properly." His father looked at her, eyes widening with recognition. He knew who she was, the CEO of the company whose cars they could never afford to buy. Alina offered to pay for new tools and help improve their garage, but Arman refused politely. "We manage fine," he said. Yet the truth was far from it. Their rent was overdue, his father's health was worsening, and Arman worked nearly 20 hours a day just to buy medicine. As she left, Alina couldn't shake the image of his cracked hands and tired smile. She began visiting quietly, pretending it was just coincidence. Sometimes she'd bring spare parts, other times just coffee. Slowly, she learned about his life, how he dropped out of college to care for his sick father after their mother died. How he dreamed of designing cars one day, not just fixing them. She saw in him the same hunger she once had before she lost herself in wealth and loneliness. One evening, a storm hit again, fiercer than before. The garage roof caved in under the rain. Arman tried to protect his father, but the collapsing beam injured him badly. Alina heard about it through a neighbor and rushed to the hospital. When she saw him lying unconscious, bruised and broken, something in her heart shattered. For years she had built empires, yet she'd never felt this helpless. She stayed by his bedside for days, refusing to leave, bringing medicine and paying every bill without telling him. When Arman finally woke up, he was shocked to find her there. Why are you doing all this?" he whispered. She held his hand, tears threatening to fall. "Because someone once fixed my broken car, and unknowingly fixed my broken heart." Under her company's sponsorship, Arman was offered a full scholarship in mechanical engineering and design. It took months to convince him to accept it. His pride resisted charity. But Alina reminded him, "This isn't pity, it's belief. You have something rare, Arman. You care." He finally agreed, promising to make her proud. Over time, their bond deepened beyond friendship. They found comfort in each other's silence, warmth in shared dreams. To the world, she was the CEO who rebuilt a garage boy's future. To her heart, he was the one who reminded her what humanity truly meant. Years later, Arman stood at a press event, now the lead engineer at Alina's company. His father sat proudly in the front row, tears glistening. Alina watched from the side, her eyes shining with pride. When Arman took the microphone, his first words silenced the room. "Once I fixed a car in the rain. I thought I was helping a stranger, but that moment changed both our lives. She taught me that kindness doesn't come from wealth, but from the courage to care." As applause filled the hall, Alina looked away, hiding her emotion. That single rainy night had rewritten both their destinies. When the event ended, he walked over to her quietly. For a moment, they simply stood together, no words needed. The rain began to fall again outside, gentle this time, almost as if blessing their journey. He smiled softly, whispering, "Seems like it always rains when something beautiful begins." She nodded, her eyes misty. Maybe that's life's way of washing away the past. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that one act of kindness can change everything, please like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe to our channel to keep stories of love, hope, and humanity alive. And as the rain continued to fall, the poor mechanic's son and the once lonely CEO walked side by side into a future neither had imagined, but both had earned, one act of kindness at a time.